Greetings, Hotep. Peace and love. This is Yirser Ra Hotep, and we are here today with our special guest, Sister Ceiramoni, and she is an artist and a Kemetic yoga teacher and a wonderful person. So that was my introductory music. I hope it went okay.
I like it.
Yeah. So we are here today because we want to promote and let the world know about a new project that our sister Ceiramoni has created. And I think I'm part of it too, but I think the major part of it is you. So first of all, I know that you are a artist, and I don't want to, you are a performer. So just tell us about yourself in terms of what you do.
Well, I am a holistic practitioner, and I use the medicine of music in my practice.
Okay.
Of course, I'm an artist with the music and with a lot of other things that I do, but I do like to see myself as that. And I believe in, using the sounds and the vibrations to portray my medicine and offer my medicine to the world is one of my greatest talents, one of my greatest gifts.
Okay. Okay. Well, and you say you do healing. You're a healer. So what type of healing do you do?
I actually help others heal themselves through the medicine of music, through movement, Kemetic yoga, through mindfulness, through the breath, being aware of your breath and the power that you have in your breath. I basically provide stress management for others. And that stress management foundation is from Kemetic yoga, through the breath, through the postures, being present and aware, and allowing one to become more self-actualized.
Okay. So if a person was to come to you and say they wanted some help, because they just have all kind of problems and issues, they're going crazy, and the world is collapsing on top of them, what was the first thing you would do? What kind of process would you take them through?
Well, I also encourage others to just be more aware of their life in general and take a holistic approach to their lives. So I like to step back and see all areas of their lives as far as nutrition, their environment, their habits, and the choices that they make in life. And I love to bring in plant medicine, which is herbs and things from the earth that can help one heal themselves and detox themselves from a lot of these things. So I bring that in, and that is the foundation of my practice, as well as the music. And I feel that music is one of the most powerful therapies and tools to reprogram someone and reshape and activate things within them. So when I bring them into like a sound bath or a sound therapy session, that allows them to take the plant medicine and be present with the sounds. And what that does, it takes them through a journey where initially it'll bring them to the forefront of what they are experiencing, any type of traumas or things that they may be experiencing, and they, instead of shying away from it, they're kind of present with it, so they have to just go through it. And the music and the medicine really is like a nurturing energy to be there to help them get through that. And as well as, you know, everyone is unique in their experience. And like you said, if the world is just crashing down on them, I have to figure out, you know, with whatever we're working with, what do I actually need for them? Some people need different things. Some people need more than just the music, the sound therapy, and the plant medicine. But for the most part, it's a very powerful tool in my practice. And also, Kemetic yoga is another very powerful tool that I use in the practice that has allowed people to connect more with their ancestors, with their ancestral lineage, and have a more understanding of the things that are happening to them, where they no longer will see that what they have seen it as before, as their world was crashing down. They'll see it as something different, like a transformation and a shedding of the old aspects of them and going into a new aspect of them. So I feel like the medicine that I provide helps them to see things from a different perspective, a more holistic perspective, and not just what they are experiencing or what they think is happening in their lives.
Okay. So you said a lot that is triggering some thoughts in my mind. So one of the things that you said, you talked about connecting with your ancestors through Kemetic yoga. Mm-hmm. And I met you in Jamaica when you came to become certified. And I kind of remember that you seem like you had a lot of interesting experiences and deep experiences while you was there. And I think that you are very sensitive and in tune with yourself and with the energy around you, with the universe. So when you said get in tune with your ancestors, what does that mean, first of all? And then what role does that play in healing?
Well, what I feel that means is you are tapping into your ancestral lineage through yourself. When you are present with yourself, when you use Kemetic yoga, when you are involved in Kemetic yoga, it's like a natural thing that happens. It starts to activate things within you to where you feel more connected to yourself. And being more connected to yourself is being connected with your ancestors. And because I feel that your ancestors live within you and you are your ancestors. So they're not something separate from you. They are inside of you. So when you connect and you activate these things within you, you connect with your ancestors. It's like a natural experience. But the Kemetic yoga, what I experience is the Kemetic yoga is what helped me connect more with myself, my ancestors, more activating of myself. And did I answer the question?
Well, yeah. I mean, because when you're doing Kemetic yoga, when you're doing meditation, it's it tends to sort of connect the various worlds that exist, the various worlds that we live in, that we exist in. And a lot of times we are so connected or focus on the physical material world that we lose awareness of the spirit world or the non-physical world and the etheric reality, that exists also, and that has a profound effect upon us. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, and also, So I had been doing Kemetic yoga before I met you. Well, I found you on a video, and I was already practicing it for years because I was doing yoga before, and I was trying all these different yogas, and it was like, okay, this is cool, but it's not really sticking. It's not really giving me what I was looking for. And when I found a video of you and I started to do the yoga that you were teaching, I immediately felt a connection, and I felt, okay, this is it. This is the yoga that I should be doing, something that aligns with me, something that I truly feel connected it. And I really didn't have to think about it. It was just something that I continued to do, and I continued to show other people. It was just like, it was, once I did it the first time, I just like spread it. And then once I came to Jamaica and I actually learned everything the proper way under you, it was a whole nother level of activation. And so in the beginning, when I was doing it by myself, it was like I felt the connection, I felt activated. But once I came under you and I learned, there was like a whole nother level. And that's when I really felt that connection. Like you're saying, the different dimensions and worlds collide within me, and felt connected with my ancestors. So all the wisdom, all the downloads, all the healing and things just started to pour down in me on a whole nother level. And I think that's why I just know that I'm aligned, and I'm so grateful for the practice because it is like no other experience that I've ever experienced before.
Yeah, well, people often, when they think about yoga, they think about it in terms of I'm going to stretch, and I'm going to stretch this muscle and that muscle, and I'm going to get more flexible. And but you're having a more deeper definition of what yoga is and what effect it has.
Yeah. And I've seen that too with some people who practice Kemetic yoga. Everyone is different. Some people, they just feel the poses and the stretches and things like that, and they feel it in their body. And when I do it, I feel it in ethereal first. I feel it spiritually first. And feeling it spiritually is like the foundation for me to continue to do it and feel it physically and receive the physical benefits. It's so many different dimensions that you'll receive from doing Kemetic yoga. So everyone is different, and I feel like I am very sensitive to energy, and that is how I feel it, like in all aspects, like the spiritual part of it, the physical part of it, the emotional part of it has definitely healed me in a lot of ways emotionally as well. So it's the holistic approach to it is what I think that's what I'm experiencing. That's what I experience in my life in general, and about every experience is the holistic approach to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, what I like to do is get down into the. I like to go beyond just the superficial. That's why I'm asking these questions, because a lot of times people make statements like the ancestors and the spirit and all that kind of stuff, but you don't really know what they're really talking about, and so to me, these things have a specific definition. So when you talk about connecting back to the ancestors or getting in tune with your ancestors, we're talking about really just literally connecting with the energy, the spirits of those who existed before us, right? And
Right.
we're talking about those people who were related to us, like say our immediate ancestors, like our grandparents, great grandparents, great great grandparents, and others in our lineage, and also the great ancestors, like those great leaders of our of the past, and those who were in who had a profound influence over masses of people. Those are the ancestors, and they have left a legacy and a what I would call an energetic signature on the planet. And also, they are not dead in the sense that they have this energy, this legacy of energy that still exists. And when I say legacy of energy, I'm not just saying, that we remember them. I'm saying that their power, there's a certain power that still exists that we can tap into, and that we can use for both healing ourselves and also for empowering us to overcome the obstacles that are placed in our path. Okay.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. So, the album that we have, what is the name of it?
The album is titled the Kemeditation album, and it's titled the Kemeditation album because it is Kemetic yoga incorporated into a meditation and into a sound. And Kemeditation is basically the art of ancient practice of Kemetic yoga into a sound. And so we have 5 tracks on the album where there's just African sounds and high vibrational sounds, 432 hertz, to really tap into the heart energy and do that healing work and to help you connect with your ancestor energy. And we have 5 tracks that are guided meditation tracks, which have you on there, and you are bringing people into the awareness of ancient Kemet, and it has the music along with it. So it's like all of that combined into one brings one into a state of higher being, a state of self-actualization, and it allows you to be present with what is, just like a meditation. So it's called Kemeditation because it's based on the practice of Kemetic yoga.
And one of the things that's done with this album is that we're making the connection between the various, what I call the Netaru, what people commonly use the term deities, right?
Yes.
But we use the word Netaru because they refer more to there's a lot of different layers to the ancient Kemetic so-called deities.
Yes.
So they represent forces of nature. They represent various psychological states. They represent different emotions and things that we go through, on a personal level and on various levels as people. And so we use those as a way of being energetic tools that we can use to break through, the blockages that we have, the things that are affecting us, that's coming from the external world, that are keeping us from reaching, our higher potential. So I think that's how the album is conceived. And what I wanted to do is, because we was trying to work with the technical part of kind of bring all of this stuff onto the screen, but since I'm not technically proficient enough to do that, I'm just going to do it like this.
That's good.
And so this is the album cover that you designed.
Yes, I designed it.
Okay, I just want to make sure I was giving you the credit. And so can you just explain to the audience what we're looking at? What, like, because, you're an artist and we know that art goes into the subconscious. So so when we look at this image, what are we seeing? What effect is it really having upon us?
So what you're looking at is the background is a picture of the Nile River. And you have a pyramid in the center of a circle with Asar, Haru, the Eye of Ra, and the Ankh. And in the corners, you have the sun, and what the circle represents with everything surrounding it on the Nile River with the pyramid is the circle of life and how we're all connected. And what came from this was activation of that, of seeing yourself connected as one, and seeing yourself as all the elements and the energetic Netzeru and one. So when you look at it, it will just make you want to just keep looking at it, and you get drawn into it to where it activates something within you, whether it would be the spirit of Asar or the spirit of Haru, your will, or the spirit of the pyramid and how you have, everything is connected. The eye of Ra, or the life, the Ankh, and what that represents, and the circle being the whole, and the river being that's, the power of the river and the water creation, and how we're all just connected and tied together through that. So that's what, that was the intent of the creation of that picture. And I feel every time I look at it, I feel that connection.
Now we see Asar. I think from everybody's perspective, what did that do there? Asar is the figure on the far left. Is that how this is appearing to you? And so what's the significance of Asar in the context of what we're talking about?
Asar is, to me, represents the spirit in us. So our spirit of our highest self, to be our highest self here, to connect with each other for community and health and prosperity, and to help one another be present in the world and be successful in the world within ourselves, and realizing and remembering the spirit that we're not this physical body. We are Asar in our spirit, and that's what Asar represents on there.
So let's talk about Asar a little bit, because I really want people to understand why we do Kemetic yoga, why we do Kemetic. How do you pronounce it? Kemeditation? Kemeditation, right? So we got this, so we got the words right. So we got Kemeditation. That's the name of the album. And Asar, on the album, we go through, various of the Netzeru. The word Netter means like a divine being, okay? And the word Netzeru is the manifestation. So the word Netzeru is a divine being, and it's a manifestation of the one, right? And Asar is a Netzeru. Asar is a manifestation of certain principles and forces that exist in nature.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a whole backstory to Asar, right?
Right.
And so Asar's backstory, the way you was describing Asar is perfect, because you were saying something about the higher self, so to speak, right? And so Asar was the one who came in, so the whole story of Asar is that he came to humanity. He came to humans, which is us, and he taught us the arts of civilization, right? He taught us agriculture, how to grow food and cultivate the land so that we can be prosperous, right?
Yes.
He taught us all of the arts of civilization. And so we would not have civilization if it was not for our Asar. We would not have the order of living, how to live in an orderly way in order to um, achieve your highest potential. Because before we had civilization, we were sort of like living off the land and kind of go here and go there and move around and hunt and eat animals and stuff like that. But when you learn to cultivate the land and create the foundation of a complex society and a civilization, people can do other things besides just hunt and search for food. They can sit down, they can meditate, they can focus, they can contemplate, they can think about things, they can make songs, and they can write poetry, and they can become philosophical, because now, instead of spending all their time hunting for food and looking for food and getting up and traveling from one place to another place in the search of food, now they can be settled in one place. They can live in the city of Menefer, one of the ancient Kemetic cities. They can live in Waset. They can build temples. They can create architecture and engineering and metallurgy and chemistry. That's what Asar allowed humanity to do. We are humanity. We were the humans. And that's what Asar allowed us to do. Right? So that's one of the reasons why we focus on Asar, is because Asar is that he represents that aspect of us that is our higher self. So when we say the word higher self, we're not just saying, some kind of term that has no, this nebulous, like a new age term. We're talking about a specific definition of what's higher. Okay.
Yes. Our most divine self.
Yeah. And so I saw also, he also has another part of his story where he was married to his divine other half, his queen. And I know I'm gonna say it anyway. I know you got married recently.
Yeah.
You're Asar. You're the Aset to your Asar.
Yes.
And so congratulations on that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And but in the story that was created about Asar, or that was actually made based upon some aspects of real events, Asar was actually murdered. He was the king, and he was murdered and killed by his brother. I say allegedly, because when you in the media like we are, you got to say allegedly, right? According to one version of the story, that's why I say that. According to one version of the story, he was killed by his brother, and then what happened after that?
His wife, or his divine counterpart, his brother killed him and cut him up and put him in different places. And Osset went on a journey to find him. And she went on her own spiritual journey to find him. And she found him and she put him back together. And he rose back from the dead. And well, before or in the process of that, in many different stories, she birthed their son, and he was, a soul was put back together, and he lived in the afterlife. He lived here afterlife, and he lived on through his son Haru as well.
Right. And so when you're showing this, when you're showing this image, and you're showing the river, they call it the Nile River, but its name is literally used to be called the Hapi by the ancestors, and then you're seeing the circles, you're seeing the pyramids, the Merkut, which is the word for pyramid, and you're seeing the sun or Ra, you're seeing the eye, you're seeing the Ankh representing life. So you're seeing all these different symbols, and these are what we would call archetypical symbols that represent different aspects of reality. And so in Kemetic yoga, we don't just say we're going to lay down on the yoga mat or we're going to stand on the yoga mat. We're going to do this pose and that pose. We also study the history, the philosophy, and the metaphysical meanings behind the stories, and what they represent, because that's an aspect of yoga that people don't really focus on, and they don't really understand how these stories, these what other people would call mythologies, how they are really connected to yoga, how these ancient Kemetic stories are really the stories of yoga. Because when Asar was killed, okay, and then he was resurrected, that is a metaphor for what we as human beings go through, and our practice of yoga allows us to become reborn again. Yes. Right?
Mm-hmm. Self-actualized. It definitely does. You go through that experience of death and rebirth, of releasing the old parts of you that can no longer serve you or go where you're going when you are becoming resurrected. And that is, our stories are the story of Asar.
I like that, releasing the old parts of us that don't serve us anymore. I like the way you said that.
Yes, because that's exactly what it is. It's just old aspects of us that we've already lived through, we've already moved forward, and just releasing it with love so that we can step into that new embodiment of ourselves.
And that is, that's a very important point, because we get into the symbolism of the snake, right?
Yes.
Because one of the reasons, now, some other folks, some other people who wasn't us, they took the snake and they associated the snake with evil, with the devil. But when I say we, I'm talking about original people, the indigenous people, the first peoples, the humans, because that word hue, that means color, right? So we always conceived of the snake not in terms of evil, but in terms of this ability to change, this ability to transform. Because one of the things that we observe when we look at the snake, we look at the snake's behavior. We see that the snake can actually shed its skin and it leaves its old shape of itself, and it has a new, rejuvenated, restored, revitalized self, right?
Right.
And so that's what we're trying to achieve in our practice of yoga and meditation. We're trying to throw off that old, scaly, used up part of ourself and trying to create a whole new self,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so when you look at the image, when you look at the cover that you created, we can see, the circle, because the snake, you often see the snake like a circle where he's in a circle and he's actually biting his own tail, showing himself as one. And that's what that circle represents, and then you're showing the different points. So it's so much things. So when you look, so there's a whole aspect of healing where you're using symbols, you're using images that help to invoke certain thoughts and emotions in people that help them to overcome their I would say their demons, right? Or those, when I say that, I don't mean it literally, but I mean, just those parts of themselves that they have to fight against, because you have to fight against yourself.
Right. Yes, indeed. What I was thinking as you were speaking about that is we are our worst enemy. Nothing can really hurt us or harm us but ourselves, but those demons, those parts that we're fighting, or that's the old part of us that we tend to try to hold on to, and it just wants to be released. And that's why it's a fight, because sometimes we're not aware that we're holding on to something that can't go where we're going. It can't enter into this next stage of where we're going, or it doesn't have the power and capability of embodying the Asar energy that we are. So it's like a fight, an unknown fight between the two. And it wants to go too. It wants to be released just as much as you want to release it. And so when you become aware of that, then it no longer is a fight, and you can release it with love because it has done its part and it stays where it is and you move forward. And another thing about the album cover is I I literally just started to create it, and everything that you're breaking down is really giving me a different perspective, because no one has actually broke it down for me like that yet. But literally, I feel that it was just something that I was creating, and my ancestors were just creating it through me, and it just kind of happened. It wasn't intentional that I placed it where they placed, or I chose certain colors. It was just like, this is what I'm creating. I'm creating the cover, and once that was the intent, it just kind of happened. And when I look at it now, I see the reflection of Asar and Haru and everything, and it's just like fascinating to me. I fascinate myself. Every
Yeah. But the thing with yoga, because you have a number one, you have a natural in attunement with nature and with the forces of nature, with the spirits, with the ancestors. You carry that naturally because of who you are and probably what lineage that you come from, that you may or may not even be aware of. So you have that, and then you add the yoga practice on top of that, and it's just going to make you be able to be creative enough so that you can just you don't have to think about it. It just happens. Things just happen, and so it comes out of you in everything that you do. Everything that you do is a reflection of who you are, and you are taking your natural foundation of who you are, and then you're systematically building upon it through your practice, and you're enhancing it because your practice allows you to really hone and develop a skill that you can call upon when you want to call upon it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That is so that's me in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Because when everything that I do is just intuitively done through the nature of my existence, and it just flows, and I don't see it as much as others, so it's just refreshing to have you and others to say, this is what I see, this is what I'm experiencing, and it's like, okay, well, I'm glad, because that was the intent, and it's just happening naturally, and it's a beautiful thing when you can find yourself in that state of being.
Yeah, well, that's the gift that you have, and I'm glad to see that your mate. See, I think that's important. That you have a mate that is in tune with you. And I met both of you all, when you all came to Chicago, and we recorded the meditation, and I was impressed by you all's interaction, right? So I can see that there's something special there. And even seeing, before we started the recording, how you all was interacting, and prior, just how y'all just how y'all just interact with each other, how y'all talk to each other. I like that, and I think that's important in terms of really solidifying yourself and making yourself have a foundation upon which you can move forward from.
Yes.
Yeah. And so but so in that sense you are activating an ancient principle which would have been expressed as asar and aset.
Mm-hmm.
And for those, and just for clarity for people who may not be familiar with what we're talking about. So we talked about asar. So we talk about ancient Kemetic stories, right? I use the word stories because I don't want to use the word mythology. I don't want to use the word religion, but these are stories. These are stories that have a message. And with every story, like even when we're looking at the image of the album cover, that is a story that's being expressed. It's telling you something, even though it may not be saying something literally or expressly. The symbolism, the colors, the shapes, the forms, all of those things are communicating certain truths about the nature of reality, the nature of our existence, right? And so when you see the two, when you see our Sar and you see our Set, and you hear the story of what they did individually and what they did collectively together, that is giving you a roadmap for how you need to be.
Yes.
And so you cultivate that and you activate that within yourself through your meditation.
Mm-hmm.
So that brings me to this question. What is your definition of meditation?
My definition of meditation is just being present with what is, mostly your breath. And I say it in that way. Also, activating, being present with your breath and activating yourself and yourselves. So meditation could be anything. Meditation could be any form of meditation, could be walking, could be a meditation. And as you're walking, you're present with your breath. You are present with yourselves. What are you feeling? What are you experiencing? Being self-aware of the now. You can sit and you can have your eyes closed and just be present with your breath and allow your mind to go, and don't attach yourself to anything. You're just present with what is. You can run, and as you're running, you're present with your breath. In order for you to be successful in your running, you have to be present with your breath, and you have to be present with yourselves, and you have to watch where you're running, making sure you don't fall or trip on anything. Meditation could be cooking. That could bring you peace, where you could just be present with yourself. To me, meditation is being present and bringing that peace within yourself, and just being aware of the now, being in the now, in that moment.
So you said something that I want you to amplify on. You said, you made reference to yourselves with an S. Mm-hmm. What you mean by that?
So like your cells in your body, I call them cells, because your cells are just little other aspects of you within you that work together, that bring you peace, that bring you, okay, this is what we're doing. They all work together. Like all your cells in your body, if you see them as little aspects of you working in this vessel to bring you into peace, or to bring you to whatever peace that is, that to bring you present to where you're walking, you're on your walk, and all your cells are working together. All your cells are working together to make that possible. If you want to sit and meditate, all your cells are working together to bring that activation within your meditation. If you're just sitting, or if you're running, or if you're working out, you're exercising, lifting weights, or cooking, or whatever, all the little cells within your body are intelligent cells. They're intelligent yous, and they work together to make the whole exist.
So I'm going to say two things about that. So for one thing, in the story about Sar, you say he was cut. His body, after he was after he became unalive, right? That's what people say now. After he passed, his body was cut into 14 pieces. Mm-hmm. And one of the tasks that his wife had was to find where these pieces are, bring them back together and reassemble him, right?
Right.
So it was 14 pieces, and she was able to get 13 of them back. Now, I ain't going to go into all the symbolism of the 14 versus 13, but the analogy, the way that analogizes to, with yoga, is that we are trying to reintegrate ourselves. We have become scattered. This culture, this society causes us to be scattered. We live under a culture that says that we have a mind and we have a body. Mm-hmm. And then some acknowledge a spirit. But when you have an issue with your mind, you go to the psychologist. When you have an issue with your body, you go to the physician. When you have an issue with your spiritual self, you go to the priest or to the church or to this institution, right? And so the way that the human being is conceived of in the Western context is that we are separated, that these are that the mind, the body, and the spirit are these separate aspects of the self. Okay. And so but you say you are a holistic practitioner. So as a holistic practitioner, then you view the self as one, as interconnected.
Yes.
And so in the practice of yoga, we are trying to reintegrate. We are trying to these are the words that we use in Kemetic yoga. We say that the body of our soul was dismembered. But then when he was put back together, he was remembered.
Yes.
And so he was able to remember who he really was. Mm-hmm. That he was this spiritual entity. That's why there was only 13 parts of him recovered, because the most important aspects of his self was recovered, and then he resided in Amenta in the afterlife, which was his spiritual awareness of who he was, his spiritual connection to the divine and to the universe, rather than having a more mortal connection to the earth, right? So you have to read between the lines of what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. Maybe get into that in a future conversation. And so the other thing I wanted to say about what you were saying is that the cells of your body, we have billions of cells. I don't know how many, let's say billions.
Yeah.
And the cells of the body, they're coordinated. Just for us to sit here like this, to talk, to blink our eyes, to move our hands, to do different, all of these operations, they take a tremendous amount of coordination. Mm-hmm. The brain and nervous system that we operate with is extremely sophisticated, especially in comparison to a robot or to some type of machine, even AI. They cannot duplicate the things that we really do in detail like this, right?
Right.
And so well, my point is that the cells of the body, from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet, they all communicate with each other through a vibrational frequency, which, if I'm not mistaken, is called RF, radio frequency. The same way I can pick up my cell phone and I can call you, there's a frequency that's going through the air, that's going through something, and you're picking it up, right? Right. And so every one of the billions of cells of your body communicate with each other and coordinate their activities. So when you become ill, you can look at being ill or being sick as a disruption in the orderly communication that normally takes place between those different aspects of yourself, which you can break down on a cellular level.
Indeed. And to just piggyback on that, yoga is what brings you back into that balance. Breathing and doing the postures can bring you back into that balance when you are feeling ill or when your cells are disrupted and they are not working together. bringing yourself into that state of self-actualization will bring you there through your breath. Being present with your breath, allowing your breath to move through your body, to the intelligence of your breath, to connect with the intelligence of your cells, and to bring them back together. When you do the poses, I feel the same thing. The poses connect with the cells in your body, and they interact with the cells in your body, and they bring them back together to where the disruptiveness is back together again. And every client that I meet, every person that I meet, I always say that, you know, it's okay to be present and be vulnerable, because what we're doing right now is we are helping each other remember who we are. Before we came into contact, there could have been something that was dismembered. And right now in this moment, I am activating something within you, and you are activating something within me. And we are here to help each other remember who we are, and to remember to breathe. Being present, when you can be present with someone, with an interaction, that automatically brings you present with your breath. That automatically brings you back together, and it helps you to remember yourself.
Yes. I'm looking for the video, because I want to, because the time is going down.
Yeah.
Whatever you call it. So let me see. I guess this is it. Imagine. They had Cat Williams coming up on my video, and the first thing I looked at. About to out somebody again. Okay. So and that's another thing about, so many distractions going on. They talking about, you know, P. Diddy. It's like, what? I don't even understand. This dude have all these houses all over the world, all over the country anyway. And he got millions. But he's supposed to be a billionaire. It's like, well, how do people take somebody named P. Diddy or Puffy? Why they take him seriously? I don't understand that. That's a whole nother story. But there's so many distractions out here that everybody's becoming distracted with, and everybody is a pedophile, everybody is a pervert, everybody is doing all this stuff, and they're losing track of what they should be focused on, So I'm gonna play the video of you and your music and your yoga. So this would be about a minute or so. Let me see. Now,
That's my favorite pose.
That's your favorite pose. What pose is that for people who don't know?
The pose of immortality.
Okay. And so why is it your favorite pose?
That's my favorite pose because I felt my whole being become activated, from my feet to the top of my crown, through my fingertips through everything. I feel immortal when I do that pose. I feel because I activate all of that within me, that when I breathe, I'm spreading that out into the atmosphere. And it also activates that within me so that when I move forward into the afterlife, whoever comes behind me will receive that, just like our ancestors were doing the same thing. They were doing the pose of immortality. And because of that, I am here, right here in this moment with you, speaking about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you did it very well.
Thank you.
And, and you're feeling the things that you're supposed to be feeling and experiencing the things that the pose was designed to make you experience and make you feel. So that's good. So before we leave, I want you to talk about where can we get the album? Is there a website? How can people come to you to? Because just for full disclosure, I'm on the album, but the music and the images, all this stuff was created by you and your mate, or you alone, or you have to clarify that.
Okay, so my mate is the producer behind it. So he created the vibrational sounds, the beats. He created the foundation of the song, and then once I heard the music, then I channeled the energy of the music that I heard, and I then created the vocals for the music. And the songs, the music spoke to me in itself. So I told him my idea of what I wanted to do. And when he created the sounds, once I heard it, I immediately felt, with Drums of Asar, I immediately felt, this is Drums of Asar. This is the name of this. This is Asar.
Mm-hmm.
This is Asar. And when I felt Ma'at Ka, I immediately felt, this is Ma'at Ka, and this is what I need to express on Ma'at Ka. So on some of the tracks, you can hear my voice, my vocals, and some of it is very, like low. I'm like in the background, but I am saying, in Drums of Asar, rise. I'm in that energy of it. It just kind of like spoke through me, and in my, I'm saying balance, light as a feather. These things just kind of spoke through to me. So that's the beautiful thing about my partnership, is that when I have an intent and I speak my intent into him, he just kind of makes it happen. He is an extension of me. So I can't go in there and make the beats and make the music, but it is me moving through him as he's making the music, and it just kind of cohesively works together. And yeah, it just kind of just it made itself. And the album cover, yes, I created that on my own. I did ask his opinion, and he came up with the name Kemeditation. I was looking at it and I was like, should we just call it the meditation album? And he was like, more like Kemeditation. And I was like, whoa, that's next level. So it does separate itself from any other meditation album. It is not just a meditation album, it is a Kemeditation album, because the foundation of it was built from ancient Kemet, from the sounds of ancient Kemet, from the feels of ancient Kemet. He would make something and I would go in there and I was like, a little more drums. Needs to sound a little more like this, or a little less like this, or more like this. And so he would tweak it, and it just like beautifully just came together in that way.
Well, that's a wonderful collaboration.
Yes, and you can find the album. It's available on iTunes right now, and it's available on Amazon. And we have the album is just $14.99 on iTunes and Amazon, but we have the Kemeditation album, and we have the ebook attached, and that is $24.99, and that has to be purchased through email at this time. But the album you can find on iTunes or Amazon, and the email for the ebook and the album is the number one, mindfulsession@gmail. And if you email me there, I can send you the attachment for the album and the ebook together.
Okay, and then we're gonna have all that information below when we actually publish this interview, and so people would be able to have access to be able to just click and get in touch and or just click to just purchase the album.
Yes.
So I want to thank you for
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah. So
I forgot to mention about the art of Kemetic yoga. So what was birthed, the Kemeditation album was the foundation, but there is also something that just became birthed from that, and that is the art of Kemetic yoga, which is a 5 series of live concerts that I'm doing starting this Sunday for the next 5 Sundays. And it is a series of art, movement, and sound, and it incorporates the Kemeditation album. So for those who haven't heard it, they can tap into the High Vibe Tribe live here on Sundays at 7 p.m. And they can experience that live and an intimate sound experience. And so that is what is being birthed from the Kemeditation album at this time.
Okay, wonderful. So we have all that information down there too. So if anybody's listening to this, just look below and you'll be able to see, in the description, you'll be able to see the links to all of this information.
Thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much. I really appreciate what you have done, what you have created, how you have taken your Kemetic yoga training and taken it to the next level, and the creativity that you have expressed. And what is the brother's name?
His name is Loa the Truth. So his name is Kanani Loa, but he does go by Loa for short.
Loa the Truth.
Mm-hmm. And he has a production company where he makes beats, sounds, music, film, editing. He does all of that.
Okay. Well, I'm sure you're giving him credit on the various sites and stuff. And it was a lot of fun working on the project with you all, and
yes, it was
just too short. Now, also, let me not forget this. You will be coming to Soul Yoga Fest July 13th in Chicago to perform. Mm-hmm. You'll be our headline performer at the Soul Yoga Fest. So Soul Yoga Fest is going to be July 13th, Saturday, July 13th from 9 to 5 in Chicago. But there's going to be a lot of other activities and events taking place in association with the actual festival, other workshops. We're going to have Queen Afua there. We're going to have our sister who does the Raishiki
Masiki Temple.
Yeah, who does the Reiki, the Kemetic Reiki. And so, but I'm going to get deeper into that as we go forward. But
I will be there.
I spoke to Queen Afua in Atlanta when I was there for the Melanated Chakras Conference. Mm-hmm. And so she said, I'm going to come to Soul Yoga Fest. So we're going to get her here. So it's going to be a great event.
Yes, I'm excited.
Yeah.
We should do something together. We should you should do some meditation, a Kemeditation, and I can perform. We can collaborate and do something together.
Yeah. Well, we'll work it out. You know, we're gonna do something tremendous.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. So thank you very much. And Uncle YogaSkills Hotep. And,
That's it.
all right, peace and love.
Thank you. Peace.